Hello, this is Paul from Tech. In this lecture, we are going to convert the units using proportions. And the proportion method is a traditional method for unit conversion. All we need to do for this method is set up the new unit as a variable x. And then set up a proportion equation. Why we call it proportion? Set up a proportion equation, solve the equation, we find the new unit. And that's going to see 3 examples. The first, if you weigh the 180 pounds, how many kilograms do you have? And the basic relationship between the kilogram and the pounds, okay, is 1 kilogram is 2.2 pounds if we use this relationship. Now, what are we going to do? And this is the old unit, right? The new is here. All we need to do first, set up a variable for the new that you need to know. So we set up this, how many kilogram? I say x kilogram, okay? And set up this is x kilogram or x. And this is a variable. How to do, and then set up a proportion equation. What is the proportion equation? I was going to do is do this. But look at the relationship. We find that the rate, and can you see here? And this relation there are 2.2 pounds in 1 kilogram, or 2.2 pounds equals 1 kilogram. So the ratio of pounds to kilogram I can write in this way. And 2.2 pounds out of over, that's the rate, right? 1 kilogram, 1 kilogram. This is the basic rate, and we have another rate. Is x kilogram in 180 pounds. So, but be sure we need to write 180 pounds in x kilogram, because the unit we have to write in the same way. Another rate is 180 pounds in x kilogram, which means I wrote 180 pounds in x kilogram. Can you see these two rates are very similar, right? Okay, they are the same because they are proportion. Okay, because they are proportion. And so this is the proportion equation we set up. We set proportion. This is two rates are the same. Then now all we need to do is solve this equation. How to solve? And we know cross multiply. Okay, and see here why we wrote the unit. It just remind us we don't make a mistake to the rate. We should write it the same. If you flip, you will get it wrong. Now all we're going to do is cross, right? Cross this, and then we set up the linear equation. 2.2 times x. In this cross, 2.2 times x. 2.2x should be equals to this cross equals 180. We ignore all the units because it's already cancelled. Okay, and how to solve this linear equation? Divided over 2.2 both sides. Over 2.2 both sides, and now we get x is 180 over 2.2. And use your calculator. How many I get? I get 81.8 kilogram. This is how many kilogram do you weigh? The first question, all we need to do is do simple steps. Set up the variable, set up the proportion equation, solve the proportion equation. Look at it. The second example. If you travel with 10,000 US dollars to Canada, how much do you have in Canadian dollars? Okay, so the basic relationship between US dollars and the Canadian dollars is here. 1 US dollars is 1.35 Canadian dollars. We use this basic rate or basic relationship. We're going to solve the new unit, which is how many dollars in Canada. Okay, let me write down the basic setup. You know, the first step is set up the variable. What is the new we need, or where the variable? See, how many Canadian dollars did the question, right? We set up this X. This is X Canadian dollars. Of course, 10,000 US dollars, you know. And then set up an equation, proportion equation for that. We need to use the rate. What is the rate? The first rate is here. If I say 1.35 Canadian dollars in 1 US dollars, the rate is this. Let me write the fraction. 1.35, right? Canadian dollars. I put the unit also, so we don't make a mistake. And then here's 1 US dollars. That's the basic rate between these two, the two type of money. And then we should equals another rate. Another rate is still Canadian dollars in US dollars. So X Canadian dollars, right? X Canadian dollars over how many US dollars? X Canadian dollars in 10,000 US dollars. 10,000 US dollars. Can you see that the rate is Canadian dollars over US dollars? Canadian dollars over US dollars. The two rates are the same. This we call the proportion. So we call the proportion equation, right? We already set up a proportion equation. And then another step is going to cross to solve the equation, right? Okay. And after I cross, what I get? X times 1. Don't need to think about the unit. It's already gone. 1 times X is X. So I get X equals, let me see, directly X equals this cross. So it's 1.35 times 10,000, right? 1.35 times 10,000. Of course, you do calculation, you will get it. This is 13,500. What the unit is Canadian dollars. If we put the unit at this. Okay, so that's the answer for this question. One more questions. Do the same way. Okay. Look at these questions. And what do we have? We have a map, okay, and the scale is 1/2 inches on the map, corresponding to 3 real miles. That's the basic scale, and from the scale we can find the rate, right? How many miles apart are two cities that are 2 and 1 out of 4 inches apart on the map? So now what to do? Do the same. The first step, we set up the variable. Where is the new unit we need is miles, right? Okay, so how many miles? This is the new unit. We set up this is X miles. And then we need to do what? This is the new unit. The old unit is what? Is from the inches in the map, or we call the map inches. Okay, map inches to real miles. Okay, that's the conversion between units. How do you do? Set up a proportion equation. What is the proportion? We base on the basic relationship. Okay, if I put the X miles on the top, so mile over inch, so mile here, 3 miles over 1/2 inches. That's the first rate. The second rate will go to X miles over 2 and 1 out of 4 inches. So that's two rate. Two rate are the same. We set up the proportion. Is there? The first rate is we set the 3 real miles, right? I use 3 miles over 1/2 over 1/2. So here is better. I put that's map inches. Okay, this is not a real. Okay, so this the inches in map, and this rate equals another rate, which is still mile over map inches. So this X miles over 2 and 1 out of 4, 2 1/4 map inch. See, this is a two rate are the same. So we set up the proportion equation. That's a proportion. And then what to do? We just cross, right? Cross this and cross this. We're going to solve the variable x. Cross this, we get 1/2 times x. So we have 1/2 times x equals what? Equals 3 times this number. So 3 times 2 and 1/4. And 1/2 we times 2 both sides, right? We times 2 both sides, or over 1/2 both sides is the same. Okay, we times 2 both sides, we get x equals 3 times this number. We write this number in decimal, which is 2.25. So 2.25, and then times 2. Okay, and they do calculation. How many I get? I get 13.5 real miles. Okay, this is the real miles, the final. That's all. Thank you.